All right, hey y'all, it's Pizza Hulk. We're here in Fallout 4. We're at the Sunshine Tidings Settlement, at least what I've made of it. Uh, I just want to talk today sort of about building in Fallout 4 and a bit about the settlement structure they have set up in Fallout 4. And I always think it's interesting that, there's three camps solidly developed. There's the people that hate it, the people that love it, and the people that are like, meh, it has its benefits, but it's not really what I'm looking for. And so, what I wanted to show today is just sort of how to, maybe if you're not that interested in building, maybe some ways to give you either some insight or maybe some ideas on what to do and possibly get a little more into it, a little more excited about it, and just sort of start finding out why this is a good thing. It can even be an OP thing, depending on how you approach it. So here we're at Sunshine Tidings. It looks very different. It's modded. It's built up. It looks crazy, right? If you've ever been here before, but if you don't, it's a farm. It's always been a farm, and you can see we have some farmers here farming. And one of the nice things about this place, my watermelons aren't here just yet. Maybe I picked those recently. It's hard to say. Ignore the purple windows. That's just a glitch. But the main point of this place is to produce food. And we're going to have a quick look here. And so we have 18 people here. And then we're going to go to the build mode, and that's going to take about 30 minutes because it's going to just take that time on the old PlayStation 4. We're still chilling. I hit the button a minute ago. Don't worry. There we go. All right, so we're producing 42 food for 18 people. That means this place has an excess of food. We also are producing 22 water for 18 people, so we have a slight excess in water. What that allows me to do is a couple of things. One, any of this extra food will start to show up in this workbench. 11, payroll, 8. So we're getting carrots and a little bit of purified water. Now, the reason we're probably getting carrots is that I'm spreading this food around to different settlements, right? So we're going to set up a provisioner, and you just assign one of your settlers to that position, and you have them go back to another base. Bink. So we'll consider Sanctuary our home base, right? They have a provisioner that goes to Red Rocket. Red Rocket has a provisioner that goes to Abernathy. Abernathy has a provisioner that goes to Sunshine Tidings. Now, all my supplies are linked. Not only can I use, let's say, some steel or some wood in a workbench from this place, but the food that I have in excess is spread around to my other settlements, right? So if you want to build up a particular settlement, let's say like Sunshine Tidings with a bunch of farmers. Now normally you can't grow these plants, but this is just an example of like the same thing. You've got a bunch of plants here, and you're producing all this food. Now I have 2 more slots for 2 more farmers if I really wanted it. And that would give me 54 food for this farm. And whatever excess I could spread out to my extra settlements. Let's say, I don't think I have a settlement that doesn't have a provisioner right now. Yeah, I do. Got 2 of them. So right now, this settlement right here, it doesn't really have anybody living there. It doesn't have anything going on, but I've already claimed it. if I set up a provisioner line from here, then I'll have all the materials that are linked between all these different bases that are connected by all these different lines. So whatever scrap materials I've thrown in whatever workbenches along this route are all connected. Everyone that's growing food, everyone that's growing water, it's all a community pool as long as you have these lines here. So if I went to the Egret Tours and I started building, I'd only have the materials that I could scrap on site or on my person, or purchase from, you know, Diamond City, or the little pieces of paper that give you a bunch of supplies. I forget what they're called right now. Shipments. But we get that line established, and then we can build whatever we want here. We can move settlers there and start to grow that settlement. And this place is a good place to produce water. So you could produce quite a bit of excess water here. But the point is, the minute that I send someone here to live, move them there, and then they have a bed, whatever, I make them a provisioner and we send them to Vault 88 here. The food and water in excess that I have will sustain this settlement. So if I'm, for instance, like I'm making 200 water over here in Sanctuary, just having that 200 water in Sanctuary is going to pretty much be enough to give water to almost every single settlement that I make. I almost wouldn't even need to put wells down anywhere else. But water is a way to make money in Fallout 4. In fact, it's a great way to make money, especially if your charisma is pretty high. So what you can do with these settlements is build water farms and food farms, right? And the water farms are going to produce excess purified water. And the food farms are going to produce excess food. Not only can they feed and fuel your other settlements,
seems to be growing well.
You can pick the food itself, right, and use it to make things or sell. And here's our water farm, right? So in Sanctuary we make 200 water. You can see there in the top bar there it says water is 200. And then I didn't check how many settlers, but we obviously don't have 200 settlers. And if you go over here to your workbench, we're going to scroll down and see if I've picked it anytime soon. I probably have, right? But any excess purified water will be in this workbench, just like I showed you earlier, any kind of excess food or like the vegetables. But you can make multiple water farms, and every time you grab that purified water, you can keep some of it, sell some of it, or use it to distribute among your settlements. So it's really a good way to get caps, and a good way to get water to all your settlements without having to worry about having necessarily, like, basically you can build one big water base, throw some wells down occasionally in some of your settlements, and you're always going to have some excess water. Or you can make like 7 water farms, and every time you go to them, you can pick up, you know, anywhere between 80 to 200, 300 purified water, and sell it for its top price if you get your charisma up to about 16 caps per water. Purified water is the way to go in this game if you want to get overpowered very quickly with caps. Hello.
Yeah?
Aaliyah. So now we'll address the theme of sort of what this playthrough is about. And this playthrough is sort of a we're kind of rebuilding the Commonwealth, but it's kind of trashy. We're not really we're not even quite Diamond City level yet, but we're working on it, right? But that leads into the other point. If you really have trouble getting into building, you know, pick a theme, pick an idea, give yourself something, a reason to build. Maybe pick a particular type of material or a faction. Like, I like to role play all my provisioners and postman gear like I have the mail. This is a mod. It's called Dogs Not Brahmin. That is an invincible dog that runs around with your provisioner instead of some stupid cow that's going to be stuck in every building you have. Okay, so here we are at the Starlight. Starlight is a popular place to build. People really enjoy this place. It's got a lot of room. It is modded just a little bit. You'll notice a lot of grass and flatness, and I moved the pond. But beyond that, you can still do a lot here no matter what. It does have a water resource, and so my feeling was trains, because there's a lot of train tracks and train stations near here. So you'll see, if you look down this way, a lot of train cars and train pieces are used in the build. And then there's also a lot of warehouse near here. So my idea was, okay, so they scavenged a bunch of these warehouse pieces and train stuff to make a new place, a new town, a new city, whatever you want to. And it's sort of in progress as far as the building is concerned. But I went really ramshackle. Now with mods, you could make this place look a brand new, sort of modern type of take. I've built giant resorts and modern hotels. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. But I'm kind of going for the trashy look here. Like I said, we're rebuilding. We're in the process of getting it together. And you can see how we're trying to use the environment. Now I have vehicles in theory in this role play, so I put them to use, and you can see we've got an actual real project going on back here. And we're building sort of like a cistern, a safe place for our water resources. So like I said, my theme is, okay, well, I'm going to do a lot of building. Give me a reason why. Give me a theme to follow. And the theme is, well, alright, we're getting it together, but it's not great. But comparatively speaking, it's better than living out in the irradiated waste zones. So try to give yourself a theme. You can see I even managed to get
Got a dangerous look about you.
Riley
Hope you
here
ain't here for me.
as my restaurateur. Now we don't have too much down here as far as role play stuff, but we'll go visit another place in just a minute to give you a little fun with that. But it's just a town I built with the idea, once again, I swear to God, Get up! Alright. Just an example of taking your surroundings and turning it into a theme. That sort of adds into, again, an overall theme that I've got going on. We're rebuilding the Commonwealth, but it's kind of trashy. But we're getting there. We're getting there. We're going to pop up to a place that I just did a recent video at called Greentop Nursery. And the function of this place is basically to be the bottling plant distillery of the Commonwealth. This is where Nuka-Cola is coming from. This is where the rum's coming from, the vodka, the Gwinnett Ale, all the drinks. So we're organizing. We're getting things together. We have specific plans for specific settlements, whether mostly to do, whether it's location, environment, or whatever. But just kind of throw yourself into it a little bit. And if you explore it just some, you'll find that there's a lot more reasons to expand on some of these places other than just having a place to mod your guns and your armor on occasion and store stuff, I know a lot of people do that, and more power to you if it's never going to be your thing. And if you don't want to sit here and take the time to go through all this stuff, I certainly understand it. But I just wanted to sort of show you what you can do if you really want to get into like putting a personal touch on things. And giving a bit of life to your settlements. So like I said, this is the bottling plant. This is where Nuka-Cola is made. We have an area where we're making Nuka Quantum. We got a pre-war ghoul taking care of business, making sure our operations are running correctly. We bottle everything cold. So it's really just how much you want to invest into it.
That work to do, can't talk.
This place doesn't really offer water, so it's really best to do two things. One, to handle extra crops and food for all of my settlements, and to also give me merchants. So I have a playthrough. It's a merchant playthrough. It's called 6 and 10, or 10 and 6. 10 settlements with 6 merchants. All right, you can figure out which ones have the most money and how to do that. But that will give you 60 merchants to use. And with that, you'll basically have your own economy. So 10 settlements you can fast travel to. 10 settlements you can have 6 traders in to sell purified water that you make at your own settlements, and tomatoes and watermelons and whatever else, guns and crap you pick up while you're out in the wasteland.
Gotta take things one day at a time.
Exactly, man. That's how we do. We make money here in the wasteland. But you can use these settlements to get a lot of caps, a lot of materials. You can also put scrappers in every single one of those, right? So again, 1 scrapper in each settlement is 10 scrappers. Every 24 hours when you check your workbench, They'll have some steel, they'll have a teddy bear, they'll have an alarm clock, they'll have a camera, they'll have some, some leather, whatever, in each camp. The other thing you can have in these camps are Brahmin. You can catch Brahmin if you use the bathtub under the, we'll just go to it, I think it's the resource tab. You put that down, and if a Brahmin wanders in, or you happen to have the cages activated on your playthroughs, you can catch Brahmin. And they provide fertilizer. Resources. So many miscellaneous. There it is. Brahmin. So if I plant this down, let's say here, and a Brahmin happens to wander in here or around here, he'll come eat here, and then I'll have free fertilizer. Dope, right? So again, you don't have to go to this level of decorating, but you could. Everybody knows that it's good to have a restaurant in your settlement. It increases happiness. You get all kinds of cool animations. It just makes the settlement feel alive. And instead of just plucking down the normal old bar, maybe there's other things you can do. So modding's great, particularly if you're like, I don't know. You can do a lot, believe me, a lot in just the base game of building, right? But there's so much more you can do with mods, obviously. But like I said, we have a distillery, we have we have a drug facility. That was at Sunshine Tidings. I didn't really show that off, but I showed you that one little plot that had all the weird things growing in it. That's basically where all the chems come from. This is where all the drinks come from. We're going to have another base that makes, mostly the food, and then we'll have another base that has, is our armor and weapons producers. Let's see, is Nordhagen on here? Let's go look at Nordhagen. And all I just am trying to do is get you a little bit excited about building and using settlements. They don't even have to be that big of a deal to turn it into a water farm or just a food farm in particular. But anytime you can get excess above of what that place needs, then you're gaining either food for another settlement that has to produce less, or if you produce excess at each one, eventually you're just going to have benches full of tomatoes and watermelons and whatever. Not this. So what we have here, it follows that theme of rebuilding. And old Nordhagen is just scrambling itself together. We're a settlement at least. Producing our own food. We got a greenhouse growing here, right? And in my role plays, because if you just look it up on the interwebs, you'll learn that the water and everything won't be super irradiated. There'll be trees and grass and corn and all kinds of things. But this is a nice little place on the edge of Boston. It's doing well. It's got a lot of trade, and it's got fishing. Not only does it have fishing, but it also has an actual boat, or several. We have electricity. We're doing pretty good, and the community's pretty kind of spread out as far as like jobs. We've got our farmers. We're not in the
looking for trouble, I hope.
Best weather. We have we're scrabbling out some crops and some corn and some gourds out here for this stupid kid. But we know our weather's kind of funky, so out here we make sure we got a greenhouse going. We're putting together homes with what we've got. It's pretty nice. You got your boatman here. And your fishermen down here. Because we're fishing off the docks too. Gotta be able to refuel your boat, right? And so again, we're letting the actual location help dictate the theme specifically for this area, but also it works into my world theme, kind of trashing. We're also a little crazy. Welcome to the Church of the Red Angel. All may join. It's always open. The preacher's always here. You figure some cults would arise.
You eat. It's as simple as that.
People love religion. And it's also helpful because we provide food, shelter,
Harm's not much, but
structure,
it's something.
a little bit of moral love there as well, but it's a little confused. They're not exactly sure what to do. And then up here we have our general store, just an area, you know, trade area. Grab something to eat. Pick up what you need. And get out of here, because we might kill you if you give around too long. So like I said, just a couple ideas, and then we're going to pop over to Croup Manor. Yes, yes. Which is my current build, what I'm currently working on. And this one's going to be just a little different because it's going to be more of a smaller build focused on a particular, like a family. But there's really only going to be like maybe 7 to 10 people. It's not a big place or area to build. I've been working on some improvements to the house to make it a little bit more believable and livable, but for the most part in this area I've been working on security. It is very dangerous here. There's a little story that goes along with this location. I'll leave it to you to find out, but there's reasons to believe that this place would be rather well built up with fortifications. And defenses to keep people out. Then back here we sort of have this natural cliff wall, and you're a fool if you get in the water and fall out 4. So that's sort of its own natural defense. You're gonna get gatted if you come this way. No way in. This is the super whip, but again we're just showing how we can use and rebuild certain structures to give ourselves a theme. I'll probably throw a bunch of nautical crap in here if possible, because we're on the old ocean. This place is pretty beat up, not a lot of floors and access, and I can build here without the scrapping mod that I have, but I do have a scrapping mod. It makes things nice and easy. But if you're near the ocean, you know, why not build some docks if you can get out in the water? If you are near the city, add sort of a city theme to it. If you want to go super modern, go super modern. If you want to go super trashy, go super trashy. But find a theme. And like I said, the majority of these places really are going to benefit you game wise for producing caps, and your stores. So that 10 and 6 model, again, 10 settlements, 6 merchants in each. You're going to be generating caps off each of those merchants based on the number of settlers that you have in each settlement. If you have 20 settlers in those settlements, I'm sorry, I'm keeping him from doing his duty. Did this dude finally show up? You finally showed up. Anyway, so you've got 60 merchants bringing in however many caps per day. That's going to accrue in your bench. Anytime you have a settler that has a merchant job, caps will start to accrue in your bench. Make purified water, grow extra vegetables. You can start a vegetable starch garden. I recommend that. Tomatoes, corn, some other stuff. Is it mute fruit? I think it's mute fruit. Anyway, get that going. You'll have plenty of glue or adhesive, and again, you have excess vegetables as well. So, if you ever wondered why people do all this stuff, mostly it's because they're bored or they just like building things. But there is a general advantage to having well-run settlements where there's a general decent
never changes.
Thanks. Amount of happiness and security. And it can really benefit you in a lot of ways. Like I said, you can make a ton of caps. I mean, listen, the minute you're like, I'm going to get this armor from Far Harbor, and it's like $25,000 a piece for caps, believe me, you're going to be glad you made a water farm. So, lots of things you can do and produce as a settlement. Give it a shot. My best advice is add a theme. Add something to it. We're going to go one more place. Recent acquisition. And survey the landscape. Look around, try to decide, well, what might be here, what would fit in, kind of go with it. Gather the materials, scrap the stuff. The other nice thing about water is it's a bartering tool, right? So you can use purified water to buy shipments. And this is Spectacle Island. This is a massive place you can build across this entire island. Stuff doesn't even render in. It's so big. But what do you want here? I've done a giant 5-story massive hotel up to the sky, right? I've done beachside living. I've done scrappers. I've built an entire modern subdivision up here. Challenge yourself. Give yourself some ideas. Throw some mods on if you really want to have some fun. Not every playthrough has to be that dang serious. But you can do a lot without mods as well. So, I mean, just have a good time with it. Really just give yourself a theme, I think, is how you can get it to building. And adding on to your time spent in the game anyway. Because, I mean, I know you can beat this in a couple hours if you really want to. It's not that hard. Everybody kind of follows the formula. Go here, go there, do this. Kill father, blow up the heads, and do the instant, whatever. It's just, I feel like if you add a bit more to it, if you give yourself a little bit more of a challenge, you can extend the life of this game. You can extend possibly your enjoyment of this game. don't know. We did Nordhagen. Oh, well, alright. And just one more example real quick. We'll go to Coastal Cottage. This one is just a sort of fun role-play fantasy build. The object here is that pre-war, this place was a place where they sold the idea of vaults for rich people underground. But you could visit the place above ground. PS4, come on, you can do it. We have faith. All right. This is nothing like what this place normally would look like. Why does it keep putting me in a third person every time I fast travel? But we built a vault above ground. It has a theme and a story. But it also has its own video. Feel free to watch it. It's in my playlists. But I thought it might be fun to show something kind of ridiculous. Just to get people interested. Again, I'm not going to explain this place. I already did that. It might be even a bit more fun as just what it is. But get weird. Throw as many kind of ideas into your brain as you can. Go watch other videos. Use this one. Build this place. Try this first. I have a video that lists out all the mods that I used to do this. Hold up. Yeah? Wait, hold on. Well, life interrupts. It's good though. Alright. I gotta go. If you happen to catch this, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you see this at a later date or time, thanks for watching. Hope you found some ideas for Fallout 4 and possibly getting into the settlement building. Just hope to give you some ideas. Just get into it. Just figure out something you want to make. Maybe you want to make a cool bar, a neat farm, or an above ground vault. Let your brain go and just have a good time. Anyway, I got to get. Y'all have a good day. Be good to each other.